Hello, this is Robert. Welcome to TRDR.tv. Today we're going to be doing an episode of Stock Market Trading 101, and I've decided to kind of switch things up a little bit and make it so that we can see the window, so that I can give you a little bit more of a description of kind of the subject matter for this episode. So this episode is going to be about when to invest as opposed to where to invest, and when to invest is more of kind of like a top-down approach to trading, and has to do with like the economy kind of affecting your individual stock choices. So basically, one of the reasons, my inspirations for originally doing this was the Federal Reserve minutes that happened last week and the effect that they kind of have on the market. And so you can let's go here to the. I like to use Google Finance. It just has, I think, a good presentation. It has a lot of the markets, and then all the markets over here, and currencies, bond markets, and then you have some information here as well. And so. Some people may think that this is a little bit of a reaction to the increase of interest rates that happened on the 16th, and I would agree that that's probably due to some of it. But I'm going to go to a company called Plug, which is a clean energy company, and kind of just use this as a way. Use this one and Soon and maybe SPWR. As a way to show you kind of just how individual stocks are affected by big changes. And so what I'm going to talk about here is what happened kind of on December 16th as well. And so this does not have to do with the interest rate raise, but this more has to do with the extension for the tax credits for solar energy and for clean energy. And so you can see that there was just a huge increase in the stock here on the 16th. And like I said, that had to do with the government, the federal government, actually making an extension on the tax benefits, the tax breaks for solar and wind companies. And so you can see that if we go to so this is Sun Power Corporation. Let's go to Soon Edison, and you can see that there's a similar increase on the same date. So this is just an example of how the stock are sometimes affected by bigger changes in the economy. And here's another one. This is Plug. Bigger changes in the economy as opposed to just things that happen to each individual stock. So what I'm trying to get at today is that it's important to read the news and to make sure that you're following closely kind of what's happening within the economy if you want to be a successful trader, because this is also kind of what affects it. So I'm gonna switch things up. I'm gonna go to British Petroleum, and here I'm gonna do something a little bit more the opposite. I'm kind of gonna show you how the commodities market has really, I think, been affecting BP's price, and so you can kind of just follow along and see how the price of oil has kind of been affecting the share of BP. So of course this isn't all that goes into the decision making. Obviously, when people think about the share price for BP, but this obviously has an effect on it, because this is the price of crude oil, and that BP is basically is being affected by. And so you can see here that just the changes in the price of BP look very similar to, this is a, I apologize, let me go back. This is the Bloomberg prices for crude oil. So this is the WTI crude oil NYMEX, and you can see here just how closely the two charts look. So here, we have it on August 24th. It's probably like one of the lows. It looks like a big drop in the price of crude oil. And then if we go here, you can see that on August 25th or 24th, there was also a very similar kind of dip. And then we go, maybe up here, or let's see, to let's go back a little bit in time to like May 5th or the beginning of May, and you can kind of see, let's see, this was also kind of topping out here. You know, the British petroleum price was also kind of topping out here. So you can see that there's a lot of similarities in between the two charts, and so it's important, I think, to really pay attention to the commodities markets and watch the news and do things like that when you're trying to invest in the market, because there's more to it than just things that happen individually to the stock. So I'll go back to the TRDR.tv account, and yeah, so one of the things I guess that is important to take away from this episode is that it's important to realize that the public's perception has a lot to do with what happens in the stock market. And so just the expectation of having certain things, like for example, the expectation of interest rate climbs is already, I think, a little bit factored into the market, which is why we didn't see as much of a drastic change after, there's a little bit of a change here after the after the interest rates were were hiked up, but it looks like that was mostly already kind of included into the market, because Janet Yellen really did do I think a good job of kind of warning everybody. But it's important to realize that investors really don't like instability, and so it's that kind of the instability that comes from unexpected events that kind of gives the market its volatility. And so it's important, like I said, to just watch the news, whether that be the financial news or whether that be political news, in order to see how that's going to affect your markets, and depending on where you've invested, it's very important. So that is the main objective for today's show, and I'd like to just thank you for joining me. Please feel free to ask me any questions here on my site. So I'm actually going to go right now and see if anybody's asked any questions, and it doesn't look like anybody has. So that is going to be the end of the show today. Like I said, feel free to ask questions, and keep using TRDR.tv, and I wish you the best of luck in your trading. Thank you. Have a nice day.